Hello, my name's Robert. Never done anything like this before, but I want to just tell my story, where I've been, how I got here, and what God's done for me. I'm just going to tell a small part of my story, my history, starting back in March 21. March 24th, 21, my brother Mike was diagnosed with cancer, pancreatic cancer. He came to see me, we talked, cried. He said he's going to fight this thing. Told him I'd be there for him. I understood. I didn't. May the 17th, 21, I was diagnosed with cancer. Neuroendocrine. I had 2 tumors, 2 massive, one in my stomach, one in my pancreas. So then I did know what Mike was talking about. But not to let it get me down, my wife and I went ahead and living life, trying to do what we needed to do. Getting ready to fight the battle, went to see the doctors, done what you need to do. July the 28th, 21, I was on the job, sitting in front of the truck. I ate lunch, made a phone call. I felt like a truck had ran over me. Didn't know what was going on. I think I'm having a heart attack, but it was low. I didn't have any clue. I called Jeanette and I said, hey, something's going on, something's bad. I'm dying. And I leave the job, and from the job to my house is like 2 hours and 18 minutes. I take off and I tell her I'm heading to a hospital. So I'm leaving, I'm passing everything on the road, trying to get to the hospital, and I'm calling people, asking for prayers, asking for help. I'm in tremendous pain. I made it to Whitesburg Hospital from Hayside, Virginia. I get there, I couldn't get out of the truck. I'd swollen. My son Corey got me out. I was on the ground, they got me a wheelchair and wheeled me in. Had to cut my clothes off, I was swollen so bad. The doctor there, they tell Jeanette there's nothing they can do for me. It's necrotizing pancreatitis. And they didn't know the extent, they had no way of treating it. This is the height of COVID. They said, I gotta get out of here. So I start trying to find a hospital, but like I said, this is the height of COVID. No beds, no hospitals. They get me sent to Cumberland, Lake Cumberland, by ambulance. I get over there, the doctors say the same. I told Jeanette, he's going to have to go on a vent. We discussed it before, and I told her I didn't want to, but she came and asked me. She was tore up, I was tore up. I said, just give me a fighting chance. So the family comes in and they see me. I knew it was bad at the time. I didn't know how bad. Sister-in-law Arlene comes in and she's a nurse. And I looked at her, I could tell it was really bad. I knew then. So they put me on the vent. Of course, as anybody else, I'm panicking on it. They said they have to get me out of there, so they make arrangements to get me to UK. They fly me in, and I get there, and I had an aneurysm on my pancreas that had ruptured, so they proceeded to fix that, try to fix it. Put me in ICU, I'm on the vent. Jeanette said when they come to see me, I was swollen so big it's unrecognizable. My hands, every part of my body was just tremendous. I was there for a long time. I was on the vent for like 2 weeks. ICU for, I think, 2 months. Not sure exactly on the time. While I was there, it was just terrible. It was terrible. Things you go through in your body, and tubes. And it's just medicines. It's something I don't wish on nobody. While I was there, I don't know if I'm on drugs, I have a hallucination or a dream or whatever, but I know I was in bad shape. I had a dream or a vision or whatever it was. I was walking down a road. Just nothing on either side of the road, nothing in front of me, just a road. Right side of the road, I could smell. It's just unbelievable, the smell. Heat, like metal, melting metal. You could feel the dread, the pain, the whatever it was. The crying, the noise. It was just so sad. On the left side, it was just calm, peaceful. You wanted to be there. I kept walking, and it didn't change. It was just terrible. The right side was just terrible. I didn't know if I was dreaming. Didn't know what was going on. But I knew I didn't want to go back. So when the nurses would hear me move, they would sedate me. So I was going to try to fake not being awake. You can't do that, but I tried. And they put me right back out, and I was so afraid I'd go back. But I didn't. I think that was a sign from God to tell me, hey, this is the choice. Left or right. You have to pick. So I was in the hospital like over 5 months. I was nearly 200 pounds when I went in, not counting the swelling, and I got down to 113 pounds. I couldn't eat. I had a tube in my chest, I had a tube on each side. I was doing ERCPs, it seemed like one a week. Scans seemed like every other day. I wound up having 2 more aneurysms on my spleen. And they actually rushed me to the ER. They'd come in, they'd sit me in a chair beside the bed, and it started bleeding. I thought I went to the bathroom. I never knew when I went to the bathroom. They come and told me when I went. They would check me like you would a child. And the nurse panicked. She ran out of the room, came back, and they brought a team, and they put me on a gurney or whatever, and sweated me out, and the surgeon comes and talks to him, and he says, hey, if you got any business you need to take care of, you need to take care of it. And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, well, I don't know what's going to happen here. He said, but it's bad. I said, can we wait on my family? He said, how far away are they? And I said, well, a couple hours, whatever. And he said, you don't have time. He said, I'm not sure we have time to get you down there. We're going to do everything we can. Going to the hospital, into the waiting room, or into the, ER, and or OR, I'm sorry, again. The nurses all gather around the bed and the doctor, and they actually pray for me. I wasn't accustomed to that, so I knew it was bad. I go out, I come back, Jeanette and Corey, they were there, and they were red-eyed, and I knew it was bad. They'd save me. Through God's graces, they'd save me. During this period of time, I'm in the hospital, I'm just dwindling away, starving. Couldn't get any better. In my mind, I wasn't right. Couldn't walk, couldn't do anything, and I'm an independent person. One evening in particular, the nurse and doctor came in, and they weighed me just a few minutes before, and they said 113. My blood pressure was really low that day, and heart rate was even really, really low. The doctor had talked to the nurse, and they were looking at the chart, looking at the computer and talking, and they were for the bed, and they thought I was asleep. They were talking low and said, hey, she said, do I need to call the family? And he said, how far? He said, well, they're in Eastern Kentucky. He said, it's a couple hours. He says, no. Said, there's no point. Said, they probably won't be here in time. Let them rest. So I knew I had to get to business. You know, they left the room. I asked God, I said, hey, you got to save me. I turn it over to you. I've done all I can do. I fought as hard as I could fight. It's up to you. And I know he did. The nurse came back an hour or so later to check on me, and I didn't talk good, but I got her attention, and I said, hey, tell you something? She said, what? I said, I heard you. She said, I don't understand. I said, well, I heard what you said. Then I told her I'd heard the conversation. And I could tell she had a mask on. I could see the little tear come down. And she said, Tony, you shouldn't have heard that. I said, don't pay any attention to that. And I said, no, I needed to hear that or I wouldn't be here. I could have went to sleep and never woke up. And I'd have went to hell. But you gave me a chance. And I've asked God to take care of me. And he has. And if I don't make it out here and my wife's not here, you tell them I'm okay, okay? Just let them know. She took my hand and she said, okay. She leaves. Through the night, they're in there every hour, on the hour, and check them in. The next morning, she's leaving her shift, and she comes in her last time, and she talks to me. And she said, you seem like your numbers are a little better. She said, you seem like you're going to be okay. It's okay. So I know he took control. There's a lot more to my story, but if I get any feedback or whatever, then I'll continue on. But I just want to say, you know, we take nurses and doctors for granted, but nurses they're angels. What they done and what they seen, what they went through to save me, to help me. There's no way to pay them enough. $1 million a year is not enough for a nurse. All of them. To come in and see people in that shape and be able to go home and take care of their children, their husband, their wife, clean the house, cook, cut the grass, and not live with this every day without losing their mind. They're phenomenal people. They deserve everything they get in it and more. But I hope that people understand that there is hope. When the doctor tells you there is no hope, there is hope. There is a God, and he still does miracles. Like I said, there's more to this story. I got another little video I'll try to attach to this. I'm not very good at this. Just to show you where I was and where I'm at. Thank you for listening.